Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Narrating this part of my life was to let you all see the practical picture of the journey of mine as well as many young Indian Muslim women like me in the field of higher education and research. And what constraints have they been facing in day to day life? Well, now let us see some figures and percentages of Indian Muslims in general and Indian Muslim women in particular in the field of education. The education of Indian Muslims has been a significant area of focus due to concerns about educational disparities within this community compared to other groups in India. Despite efforts by the government or various other organizations to enhance educational opportunities for Muslims, challenges persist related to socio-economic factors, access to quality education, and social biases, which we have all been going through in the first session from the morning till the very last session before this one. According to the 2011 census of India, Muslims constitute about 14.2% of Indian population, making it around 172 million Muslims as a community, in which female population is accounted almost as 50%, making it around 86 million Indian Muslim women in 2011. Since the population growth in India has been steady, the Muslim population has likely increased since 2011. According to the annual growth rate, which has been recorded in several reports, governmental reports, around 2.1% for Indian Muslims have been noted. The estimated female population of Indian Muslims, around 100 million population of Muslim women, Indian Muslim women. Then different national education reports reflect a picture which is a matter of concern and requires immediate plan of action for the progress of development of action for Indian Muslim women. National Family Health Survey, it states in 2019 and 2020 report that the literacy rate for Muslims in India is approximately 68.5% for men and 60.4% for women, which is unfortunately lower than the national literacy average, which is around 74% for men and 70.6% for women. The Unified District Information System for Education, UDISE 2020 and 2021 data shows that Muslim children have lower enrollment at primary and secondary level than other communities. However, it also shows us how the school education enrollment of Muslim children is growing and improving day by day. When it comes to higher education sector, the All India Survey on Higher Education, AISHE 2020-2021 states that Muslims make around 6 to 7% of the total number of students in higher education institutes, which is not in proportion to the population share. According to the India Skills Report 2022, the enrollment rate of Muslim women in higher education is still lower than that of other communities' women. For instance, while around 30% of Hindu women in India are enrolled in higher education sector, only about 20% of Muslim women attend university level courses. The enrollment in STEM courses of science, technology, engineering, and medicine, the enrollment of Muslim women is lesser than 5%. When it comes to the domain of research, the NIRF study of 2021 states that Muslim women represent only about 3 to 5% of total researchers and scholars in Indian institutions. All these figures indicate and point out the challenges for participation of Indian Muslim women in higher education. These challenges range from social and economic barriers to cultural expectations, as well as ingrained discrimination in the fabric of our own societal structure, and the political and idealistic discrimination and the systematic disenfranchisement which we were talking about in the earlier session of Muslim community. If we conclude, we can safely say that Muslim women in India are making progress in higher education and research despite significant barriers, particularly around cultural expectations, economic challenges, and institutional biases. At last, a question needs to be asked that what should be the course of action for future or for ongoing scenario. The answer may include that a strong support from the governmental bodies through schemes and policies are to be looked forward, help from academic institutions and civil society, proper training and counseling sessions by independent groups like like for example the very institute where we are standing today, the Shaheen Group, in which we are discussing the future about Indian Muslims or the intellectual portfolio of Indian Muslims in future. Good news is that increasing awareness among Muslim community has been leading them to address this concern of Indian Muslim women in higher education. In this regard, minority institutions like AMU, Jamia Millia, Jamia Hamdard, Maulana Azad, National Urdu University, Usmania University, and many others, minority institutions are paving the way for higher education for Muslim women. Similarly, emerging think tanks and NGOs, like that of the very emerging one, of which I'm also part of, the CSPS Center for Studies of Plural Societies, are some examples, are the examples that are setting us the ideal situation or the examples for the upliftment of female Muslim education, training them, counseling them, paving the way for them, letting them know that nothing is stopped anywhere. People may have, if there are no ways left, a new way can be paved for the young minds, because the youth are the treasure of any nation, of India particularly, because Indians in the foreign lands are very much beloved because of their children, as I have heard in the first session, that our children make us more beloved. So working for our youth and working for our children is our duty. As more success stories emerge, they would serve as inspirations and role models for future generations of Muslim women to pursue careers in academia, research, and other professional fields. With this positive note, I would like to end my talk. Thank you very much.